about that. For the people that don't know, I am attorney Jasmin Robinson. Some of you might be like, attorney, you look like you about 16. Yes, I'm an attorney. I went to Hampton University for undergrad from Richmond, Virginia. So I went down to Hampton. And then after that, I went straight into law school. I graduated law school when I was 24. When I was 24. And then I passed the bar right after that, and now I'm a licensed attorney. And everyone asks, okay, so what do you practice? I'm actually not practicing. I did do that for a short time after receiving my bar license. I did family law, so I do know a lot about that. But in the long run, I chose to be a law school coach. So why would I be a law school coach over practicing? Well, I figured I can either practice and make a difference in the legal community, or I can recruit hundreds and thousands of attorneys that can do what I can do times 1,000, times 100,000. So I decided to be a law school coach, and Jas Talks Law was created. The main mission for Jas Talks Law is enhancing cultural diversity within the legal field. So what does that mean? Just plain and simple, I need people that look like me, people who are diverse, people who are poorly represented in the legal field to become attorneys. There's so many of you out there that are interested, but you just need that extra push. You just need to know the ins and outs. You might not have came from a family of doctors or lawyers like me. No one in my family is an attorney, and me and my mom are the only ones that have college degrees. So for those people like me who just may not have been exposed to certain areas, I want to change that. I want you to feel like you can come to me, you can talk to me if you're interested in law school or any area. I know people that do so many different things. So if I can be of service to you, feel free to reach out to me. So that's what Jas Talks Law is all about. So yeah, the next thing that I wanted to mention before we get started is please follow us on Facebook. On our Facebook page, we post all of our events, opportunities, different things we have going on. We post a lot of, we share a lot of helpful advice. We just posted something a few days ago that was talking about tips for your resume. And for those of you that are on spring break right now, I would definitely recommend updating your resume. And of course, you'll never miss a Facebook Live session, which everyone has been saying they're really helpful if you follow us. So I would definitely do so. We're also, we also have our own weekly email base. So every Monday we prepare a weekly email, which includes a lot of information that you would see first before anyone else. And that gives you a head start on a lot of opportunities, such as scholarships, such as important deadlines for the LSAT, different events and chances to meet up with me. All that information is included in our weekly emails, different advice or what have you. All of that is in our weekly emails. And if you just go on our Facebook page and click sign up, you'll have access to that and to how to subscribe to our weekly emails. They're very helpful, and it's all free information. Why not? The next thing that I want to encourage you guys to do is follow us on Instagram. So I try to use every one of my social media pages to do something that the other one doesn't. So what I like about Instagram is two things. First is our Insta story feature, or as I like to call it, Insta Snap. So on our Insta Snap, I post a lot of like behind the scene footage, just parts of our daily lives here at Jas Talks Law. And so, for example, I did a visit with a student to Mercer Law School yesterday, and I talked about that experience and different tips and things that I think you need to know when you're visiting schools. And if you haven't checked that out yet, you should definitely do so on our Instagram page. And also same with our Twitter. I post really good law school news on our Twitter page. So things that I think you need to know about the legal community in general, and also specifically about law schools. I post that and different motivational quotes and things on our Twitter page. And last but not least is our YouTube page. So I have a law school ambassador. Her name is Bria. She's a first year student at Emory. And we've been partnering, working together, and she's been giving me a lot of tips and things that she's been doing in law school to help her specifically at Emory. So I'm looking to work with more law school ambassadors. If that's you out there, let's definitely work together. And in doing so, me and Bria, we worked on a YouTube video, and we're going to continue doing this every month. So if you go on our YouTube page and subscribe, you'll see our most recent video where we talked about law school myths, things that it's just so much nonsense out here related to law school, and we're just like, that's not true. Like, just point blank period, that is not true. So, for example, if you go to HBCU for undergrad, you won't do well in law school. Like, what? I went to Hampton, one of the best HBCUs in the world. Shout out to everyone that went to HBCU. And I am doing extremely well. And I know plenty other people who come from HBCUs and do very well. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to subscribe to our YouTube page. And earlier, I mentioned that I am a law school coach. So a little bit more about that. I am an accountability partner. I'm the one that tells you, okay, you need to do this, and this. These are your goals. This is how we're going to reach them. And I help walk you through that process. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to scroll down the Facebook page, and it's literally right at the top of the Facebook page, and you'll see information on how to get started on having me as your law school coach. I would love to coach you guys. I'm seeing some really good results. One of my students received, oh my gosh, she received $84,000. $84,000 that I didn't get, by the way, in scholarship money. And just knowing that I had a piece of that, granted, he put in a lot of the work, but knowing that I was a part of that and I contributed to that, oh my gosh, like it's the best feeling ever. It just encourages me to continue doing what I'm doing. So on that note, we're going to get started with that's basically all the housekeeping stuff that I wanted to go over, and we'll get started now. But as I mentioned earlier, feel free to comment, ask questions, interrupt me, like whatever. Like, I'm here to help you guys. This is a two-way conversation. So even if it's not related to law school logistics, if you just need tips on the LSAT, like whatever you need, feel free to ask questions, and please share this video. Thank you to everyone that has so far. I really appreciate you guys for helping me share this knowledge with our community. So on that note, we will get started. Thank you for joining, Janie. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is saving for law school. The S word, right? Saving for law is so important. And if I could go back to when like the summer before I started law school, I definitely would have saved a lot more money for law school. So, and this is why. So when you accept, let's say it's now March, and you accept, you get accepted to a school, and you decide that's the school you want to attend. And you contact them and say, yes, I want to go here this fall. Boom. So the big hump, you're past the big hump. After that point, they're going to ask something from you called a seat deposit. And when I was entering Mercer, I had no idea that they would be asking for a deposit to hold my spot in the class. And depending on the school you go to, that deposit could be a few $100s, it could be $500, it could be $750, it could be more, it could be less. But the point is that deposit has to be paid before you get financial aid to cover your tuition or what have you. So it's very important as of now to start saving for that. I'm working with a student right now who is having a little difficulty getting that money together. He just got accepted to Emory. Hey, I'm so excited. And so we were talking about it, and we're thinking about doing like a GoFundMe, something just to, any future Black attorney out here, I would love to help. In any future Hispanic attorney or whatever, and I know plenty of you are the same way. So that's just one example. If you are in that space where you might not be able to afford the deposit, definitely consider ways you can get. If you can get 10 people to give you $50, I mean, that's your seat deposit. If your deposit is $500, obviously. So that's the first thing that I wanted to mention. In addition to that, you also have to consider things such as you might have to pay a utility deposit for the place that you decide to live. like different, like Georgia Power, for example. I think when I moved into my first apartment in Macon, Georgia, I had to pay like $100 deposit, and thank God I had it. But that's something that some people don't think about. You might have to pay a deposit for other bills. You might have to your deposit where you're going to live. Most apartment complex, you have to pay a security deposit. Things like that is what you need to be saving for now. I just happened to have the money. I didn't necessarily save, quote unquote, for it, but I did work the summer before. So those are things you really, really need to be saving for now. In addition to that, you need to save for your books. So if you thought that undergrad was books were like really expensive, then you're going to be surprised because law school books are even more expensive. Your books could be anywhere from $500 to $1,000 each semester. It could be less, it could be more. It just really depends on the classes you're taking and what books those professors require. And the thing about, so some of you are like, okay, well, I'll just pay for my books in my refund check. And we're going to talk about refund checks a little bit more later on. But the thing about that is most of the times you don't get your refund check until a week or two after classes start at most schools. Some schools you might get it a little earlier, some schools you might get it a little later. So with that being the case, you might have, because you don't want to miss out on a week worth of reading in law school. That's a huge no-no. So you really need to be prepared to pay for those books before you even get your refund check, because that's something is just unavoidable. You have to have your books, obviously. Now, a mistake that I made my first semester of law school, I bought my books from the bookstore, thinking, I'm just gonna go down here and grab my books, which is very convenient. But you are almost guaranteed to pay $20, $30, maybe even $150 more than what it will cost for you to get it online. Try Amazon. Try the second and third year students. All you can do is ask, reach out to them. Hey, do you have the criminal law book for Professor Floyd's class? 9 times out of 10, they have it, and guess what? They aren't using it anymore. So you can probably get that up off them for probably half the price. Please, please, please do not, when it's time to buy your books, do not make that mistake that I made, because you will pay more than is necessary for your books. The next thing that I want to talk about relating to saving money is you might need to buy a laptop. At Mercer, for example, they gave us laptops, brand new laptops. They were Dells, but they gave us laptops. So that was taken care of. But let's say you're going into law school and your school isn't providing laptops, but you've had your laptop for a few years now. You don't necessarily want to continue using that laptop because you're going to eventually have problems with it. And with hopefully not, but what could happen is you could be taking notes one day and that computer just crashes or something. And that's just, if your computer crashes while you're taking notes, like I'm thinking like worst case scenario, obviously. Your computer crashes while you're taking notes, and next thing you know, all your notes and things are gone. And as a law student, when your computer crashes, it's like the worst thing in your life because everything you've worked on so far is just obviously gone. So that's something you really, really want to try to avoid. Consider investing that money into a laptop. And if your school doesn't provide a laptop, also ask them if they have any type of discounts if they're working with anyone, because they might be able to say, they might have some type of arrangement with Apple or something where you get like 10% off or something. So those are all